user, we can share it in path. So we can share the data in path so that you can use everyone. We have to share the data to individual persons. At a time, same data, we should not share it. So that is the security, right? Yeah. So there is no path concept here. So we will derive the roles. Okay, so whoever having this role, those people can able to access the data. Okay, so today we will discuss about the role, so you will get a clear picture on that. Okay. And switching to account admin. I am selecting the role, account admin, and database is DemoDB. Okay, so here so let me check the table having a data or not. Restore from EMP. Okay, so I'm creating a table, create or replace. Table name is order info as select star from sales. So this table having data. So order related information details having in this table. Okay. So now the requirement is so I'm creating a user or multiple user IDs I'm creating. So I want to share this data, order information details to those people. So for that what I have to do is, so today it will be 2 users. Maybe in the futures it may be more also. So it is not a good idea to come in the worksheet and making some code corrections and giving permissions to those users. Okay, so the best idea is you define one custom role. One new role we will create it, and this role we will assign to the people who are need access now. Okay, so whoever having this role, those people can able to access the data. So in future, imagine for 5 people or 10 people, we will grant these roles to those users so that everyone can able to access it. Okay, like I'll elaborate it. So imagine we have a table called order info. Okay, so this table need to share this information to new users. So they joined recently. So assume that user 1 and user 2. There is no special symbols characters here. Okay, so to these two users need permissions to view this data. Okay, so as we discussed yesterday in data sharing, through share we can share the data to multiple people or single or multiple. Okay, what will happen in future if more than 100 people want to look for the data, then 100 people we need to give permissions to share the data to everyone, this 100 people. So instead of doing that, what we can do is we will define one role. So today the best way is we will define one custom role. Okay, once the role is created, then we will grant the permissions, database, schema, and table. Okay, so if you want to share the complete database, you can share it. Okay, so if you want to give share only specific table, you can share the specific table. Okay, so grant the permissions, database, demo db is there, right? If I share this database to the role, to role, custom role. So what will happen is, so in the demo DB, whatever the tables views are there, the whole database it will be giving permissions to the custom role, so that whoever having this role, they can able to view the complete database. Okay, so which means in this database, whatever the tables, views, everything they can able to view it. So in going forward, there are imagine in future if more than 100 people want to look looking for the same data. What we have to do is no need to come to the worksheet and no need to write a code and modify it. So we just you can assign this role to those 100 people so that everyone can able to access it. So here the effort and time consumption is very less. Okay, so there is no limitation here. You can create a roles, a number of roles you can create, and ideally in the organization how they will derive the roles is for each department and each sensitive tables they will derive uh, the custom role. Okay, so whoever having this role, those people only can able to access the data. Who doesn't having that role, those people won't get the access. So whoever doesn't having the role, they has to communicate with their plant owner or the department head so that once they grant the permissions, then only the communication it will go to the Snowflake account department and the Snowflake account people, whoever is available in the current shift, they will give the permissions to you. Okay, so this is how it will be work. So it is most of the cases 80% of the work it will be handled by role only. Okay, so as you asked in the initial, right? So here once the role is defined, this role you can give it to this 100 people so that 100 people can access the same data. But here in the data, so in the data sharing, we have to give individually. So it will take a lot of time. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So now we will see practically so that you will get a clear picture on that. So I'm creating a role. Create or replace role. Role name I am making custom. Okay. So if you want, you can make a comment. Comment is not a mandatory. This is custom role. Okay, so I'm creating a role. Custom role is created successfully. Create a custom role. Okay, so once the role is created, then now you grant the permissions. So what you want to share? We want to share the complete database, or we want to share only specific table. Okay, so that we will see. Grant usage on database demo DB to role custom. Okay, so this statement is we are giving permissions to this role. So in this database, whatever the tables views having, the giving permissions to this role, which means the custom. Okay. So now what I'm doing is I'm sharing create or replace username is Reddy01 and password welcome at 123. Okay, I have created a user. So now we are granting a custom role to this user. So this role having database permissions. So now this role we are assigning to the user AKReady. Okay. So here create a user. Okay, now grant role name is custom to user. Is the user. Okay, so we are granting permissions to this user. So this user having this custom role. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so by default it is public. So if we switch role, so here you will get a custom, right? So this role we assign to the user AKReady 01. Okay, so I'm selecting the role custom. So when I switch role to custom, then I can expand it here and select the role custom, and warehouse we are not giving the warehouse name. So by default warehouse we didn't given anything here, right? So if the user want to try to creating the warehouse, he doesn't having privileges to create new warehouse. Okay, so unable to create a warehouse due to insufficient privileges. Okay, so this case what we have to do is we have to grant the warehouse name also. Grant the usage on warehouse access to role custom. So this access we should not take directly extra small, medium. So we have created a warehouse, right? Custom warehouse access. So that I took it. Okay, so we have granted. Grant a warehouse. Okay, so in this here, if I refresh it, so I can able to select the warehouse name. So when the moment I select the warehouse name, so now I can select the database demo DB. So now I can able to access it. Select star from EMP. So here we missed the schema name. So we gave only database name. We didn't give the schema name permissions. So we will give the schema name also. Schema demo db dot schema name is public to role custom. So first we will give the database permissions, then schema permissions, then granting warehouse. So I'm refreshing the page. Ideally it should come. So I'm switching to custom. So I'm changing from public to custom, and I'm selecting the warehouse access, and the database is DemoDB. So if I expand it, ideally it should come all the tables and views, whatever it is available here. Select star from EMP. Okay, let me share the table name. So database schema name we have shared, and we will share the table name. Grant usage on table. Grant select on table, right? Grant select on table, database name, schema name, and the table name is order underscore info to role custom. So we get it here, right? So order info. By default, we will get the order info. Select star from. So you will get all the details. Okay, so if you go to the account tab, so in the roles, here this is the users, right? We have created. So I'm creating a one more user through Snowflake Web Console. So the username is makereddy02 and the password I'm giving same. New user. Okay, so I have created a username makereddy02. So if I go to the roles, so here the custom role is created. So this is the custom role. So by default, we will have a 5 roles, right? Account admin, public, security admin, system admin, and user. So this is the custom which we have created. Okay, so if you create a role, so the role name is author, and here if you drop down here, so you will get custom role also, parent role. So you are trying to creating this role from which account? So we are logged in account admin, right? So you have to select the account admin, order role, and finish it. So a new role will be created. Okay, and if you click on edit, if you want to give editing any roles here, you can make it here, and here you can select the user. Okay, so how many users? If the ID is having more than 10 users or 100 users, you can select and you can give it like that. So let me create few more users. Finish. I'm creating another user. Okay, so total 3 we have created through Snowflake Web Console. So now I'm going to the role, and so this is the new one we have created, or you can choose select this. This is the custom role, right? So click on edit, and here this user having a permissions to access this role. So here you can type, no need to type. If you want, you can type. If it is more than multiple users, like more than 100 or more than 50, so you will get all the user IDs here. So I'm choosing one by one. When the moment you selected from the drop down list, automatically that will be added here and it will remove from the drop down list. Okay, which means here if the person is requesting us, I do not have permissions to access this data table, and this table is assigned this role, custom role, and the user is saying still I do not have access even if you granted the permissions. You can come here and you can verify whether that ID is coming from this drop down or not. If the ID is coming from the drop down, which means we are not granted permissions to him. If the ID is not coming from him or not coming from here, then we have already given a permissions to him, but he don't know how he has to check it. Okay, so this is how we can confirm it. Okay, and here this is the who giving granting permissions to these users. I'm selecting account admin. Okay, click on save it. Okay, so now what I'm doing is, so this is accurate D01, right? So I'm log out and I log in with a different name. Zero 04. So here one mistake we did, we have not given the warehouse name for these users. So if you click switch to, so you will get a custom role. It is automatically assigned to this user. I'm changing to custom, and here warehouse we have not selected manually, but automatically it took it. How it took is, we assigned, we have granted permissions warehouse to this role custom. So that's why we can able to view it here. So here we are not manually defining the role for each and every user. So bulkly we are assigned. So if you expand here, so you will get the order info. Okay, so we have created role one time only, but this role you can assign, the same role you can assign a number of people. So thousands of people also we can assign this role to the users. Okay, so everyone can access it. In case in going forward, so if you want to restrict column levels, these many columns, no need required to share grant the permissions, or only few of the records want to view it, then that case what we can do is as a Snowflake admin, here you can restrict it here. So here we give the table name, right? Grant table order underscore info. The role custom. Okay, so here if you make any corrections, that's it. No need to do anything. So if you want to make any corrections in the role level, you can correct it. That will automatically, it will reflect for all the users, whoever, how many users having this role, it will reflect it automatically. Clear? Any doubts here? So here there is no restriction. You can assign multiple users. Okay, give me a minute, guys. So here, so we'll talk about the interview questions. We may expect, like once the user is created by the account admin or system admin or whoever it is. Okay, ideally Snowflake account admin people only will create users. Okay, so when the moment the user is created, so execute a query? No, he cannot able to execute a query. The reason is user ID is created. Okay, so this ID is created, but we are not giving any default warehouse. If you are not giving any default warehouse, then he cannot able to execute a query. So this is a Snowflake accountant admin role. Whoever having, they can able to create new users, and they has to give default warehouse name. If he is not giving a default warehouse name, then this user can't able to create a warehouse. Okay, so here you do not have any permissions to create a warehouse. Okay, so it is a mandatory to give a warehouse from the account admin side. Clear? This is one question. And the next question, the expected interview question will be, what will happen today? I have 10 Snowflake developers. So out of this 10 Snowflake developers, I want to share or I want to reveal this employee confidential related information to few of the people. Okay, so I don't want to share salary details. That is very confidential, right? So salary column completely should be hide. Okay, rest of the details like first name, last name, email ID, department, and the mobile number, and which location, and to whom he is reporting, so which project he is working. So these details has to be revealed to few of the people. Okay, so that case what we can do is, so whether you will give or grant permissions to the individual user or how you will follow it. So the answer is, we have to define a role and we will grant this role to the people. How many people we want, we will grant these roles to the users. Okay, so that whoever having this role, those people can able to access it. Okay, in future, if there are some 100 or 1000 plus people added, and it is really difficult, right? So to come in the worksheet and manually writing these queries and giving 1000 people giving granted permissions, right? So just click on account tab and go to the roles, and you select the role and how many people you want to give the roles permissions. You can select it and you can give it. Okay, this is very easy. This is maximum it takes 5 minutes time if you guys aware of it. But here you should be very clear And if you are giving a role to some user or consumer or internally whatever it is, you should need a permissions, which means you need approval email. Without approval email, you should not share even waste table also. If you feel this is very waste table and there is no use on this table, and someone is requesting I do not have permissions to access the table, so in your point of view it will be a waste table or waste data. But the organization is deriving and putting restriction to access the tables data, which means that is very important for the organization. Okay, don't assume yourself, guys. If someone is requesting you, I do not have a permissions, and if you granted without approvals, this can easily identified by the account admins, and who are expert in the account admin side, they can easily track it, and they will ask us, we have to give a proper justification. Okay, so this kind of conversation, it will be a escalation conversation or escalation emails. Okay, so without approvals we cannot give access or permissions. Okay, so everything will be recorded, even past 1 hour or 1 year whatever you did, that we will take it. So if you do whatever it is, I'll give one best example. You just logged in and you logged out. Okay, you didn't did anything, nothing you did it. You logged in last month, and after that you didn't logged in. And there is a issue, you particularly you should work on that, but imagine that is some complicated issue and no one can able to identify the solution, and you log in the last month, and so far you have not yet logged in, and your manager or your architect asked you, so any progress on that? And if you give any fault commitment, no sir, I have not able to find the solution, I'm keep trying it. So if he getting a doubt on you, then he can able to pull all the information, how many times you logged in so far, and each day how many times you logged in, and which time you logged in and which time you logged out. So the complete information you can able to pull it easily. Okay, so everything will be get recorded, so nothing will skip it. So keep this all the things in mind and before committing anything to our management. Okay, so far what we did is, we have created roles and giving permissions to the roles, and this role we assign to the user and multiple users. Okay, so now if you want to view it, how many how many roles are defined, how many permissions was granted. If you want to look for the granted permissions from the entire database, then you can execute show grants on database. Database name is DemoDB. Oh, sorry. So grants on database. Database name is DemoDB. So if I execute this statement, so we will get all the granted roles and grantee name, and whether the permissions we granted to roles or not. So all the details we will get it here. So the privileges, usage, create a schema, usage, ownership, the complete details you will get it. Okay, and so if you want to look at schema level, then you show grants on schema. Schema name is public. Okay, so you will get this many things. So this is something like if you want to look for the granted permissions on which date and which role level we gave, so how many users you give permissions, so those all the information you will get it. Okay, so this is another Snowflake account and granted to shares. So like that, the history information you will get it. So if you want to look only the role related information, so same, show grants to role custom. So we are specifying the role name. So this role when it was created, and this role is granted to the table, database name, schema name, table, and the warehouse also, which means that role having by default this permissions we have granted. Okay, and this role we have granted. This role is granted by account admin. Okay, system admin not granted. Okay, clear? And if you want to look at user level, use grants to user. So grants to user, username. So this is the main user. So to this user, this is the granted by account admin, and the granted name is security04 and granted to user, and the role is custom. So like that you will get the details and which date and which time it was created and granted permissions to those role, and that role is assigned to the user. So all the details you will get it. Okay. Any doubts so far? So compared to Snowflake admin, Snowflake developer, Snowflake admin role is really a kind of I can say this account admin role will be 24/7, which means at every time guy should be in a backup, and if one person is working in morning shift and first shift, once the first shift is over, then the second shift people another Snowflake developer needed. On the third shift, another Snowflake developer admin we need. So which means in a day 3 shifts, right? In 3 shifts, 3 Snowflake account people is required. In case if the organization need 24/7, but Snowflake developer will be a kind of these people also. It will be a depends on organization timings how they are following. Okay. And users roles is completed, and now coming to the policies. So these policies is basically uh, For creating a policy, we need IP address, allowed IP address, blocked IP address. So this IP address in the sense, for example, if you are trying to sharing the data through IP address, or if you use the private virtual warehouse, Snowflake Edition is the last. If the organization want to use public services and they want to use private services, then the Snowflake account entirely can be hosted on virtual private Snowflake edition, right? So this edition is completely work on private services, and it is completely owned by organization, and it is a unique services. Okay, so in the services, if you are trying to sharing some information through the IP address, or you configure some IP address, and whoever is trying to connecting, it's a kind of I can say like VPN. So whoever having this VPN access, and once they are connected with VPN, and whoever is trying to connecting the data, and that the requesting IP address, and here the configured IP address should be the same. If it is matching, then only he can able to connect to Snowflake, and he can able to get the data. If the IP address is not matching, then it will not connect to Snowflake itself. Okay, so this is something like we can't see you practically, because there are a lot of admin activity, as well as the organization server maintenance people should involve here to configure the IP address, and this is very sensitive, because if you know the system IP address, then it is easy to crash the system. Okay, and the sessions. So the sessions is basically for every user. So the session ID will be there. Based on the session ID, you can terminate the activities whatever they are trying to do. Okay, so in each user, if you want to abort or cancel the all queries with the help of the session also, we can do that. Okay, and the resource monitor is basically, so it will monitor all the resources, each and every user, how much credit got consumed. If it is crossing the limit, it will automatically send a notification to this email IDs, or whichever the email ID you are configuring. Okay, so once you create resource monitor, I'm making my name and credit quota, I'll make it some 100 credits, and the monitor level is either you are monitoring at the account level or the warehouse level. So the account level in the sense, so for each account, how many credit card consumed, it will be monitored based on the account level. So if I choose a warehouse, which means imagine 100 Snowflake developers are there. This 100 people using warehouse is size is extra small or small. Okay, based on the warehouse, it will calculate it for the entire 100 people. Okay, so I'm selecting the account. So here schedule begin monitoring immediately and reset at the beginning of the month. So it means, so once you create this resource monitor, immediately it will start monitoring it. So after a month, it will be start from the beginning. Okay, it will reset it and it will start, which means I have set today is 21st, right? So if I set the monitoring, and till this month 31st it will be monitoring, and the next month first it will reset it and it will start from beginning. Okay, so this is how it will be. And the spend and notify is credit quota is total we give 100, right? So here I am making 80% or 85%. If it is credits used, then automatically I'll get notified. Because out of 100, 85% you have already consumed, remaining 15% are there. So please carefully do it. And if the Snowflake developer is extensively working and he involved majority of the topics, majority of the areas, then this will be an exception for him. Okay. So suspended immediately and notify when. So this means so I'll making 85% or 90%. I'll make it. So if the 90% is used, and immediately the person will get notified and he can't able to move further. Okay, so here most of the times here they will maintain the same value. Okay, and notify when. So 85% is consumed, then the time you can notify it. So and another way is here you can maintain 85 and 90% time again you will get notified, and 95% is credits consumed, then the third time will get notified. Okay, so if you click this symbol, you will get it allow running queries to complete before suspending warehouse. Okay, so after crossing this 90% of the credit is used, which means in case after that if our queries are running or our warehouse is running, then it will stop immediately or aborted or cancelled, and the account admin will get notified that. Okay, so the email configuration will be, so we already discussed in the notification tab, right? So here if you click account preferences, it will take you into here. So we have not yet notified. So in the general we will get, right, so the email address, so this person, and the phone number we have not yet configured, and this person will get a notification to his email. So if I don't want to use this email, so if I want to change it, you can change it. Okay, so the notification is none. Okay, so I'm going to the account, and quota 100, and actually this 100 is too high actually, and I'm giving 85%, and here, so about all the running queries and suspended warehouse immediately. So if it is crossing 90% of credits out of 100, then it will cancel all the queries after crossing 90%. Okay, so which means so you are running ten. Okay, so these many queries you are running, and these queries are in queue. First query is executed, and second query is executed, third, fourth, fifth. At the fifth stage, the credits crossed 90%. Okay. From here, so the remaining queries will be cancelled and aborted. Okay, so it won't be considered. After